This is the Jack Murphy Podcast. Here's your host, Jack Murphy.
John, tell me the truth. If you were a kid and you walked by my house and you saw this, would you want to come in and trick or treat me?
Oh, hell yeah.
Look at that.
Is that your house?
Yeah, you got the big blow-up Halloween truck with the, I guess those are from Ghostbusters hanging out there. And then you got the pumpkins in the window. There's even more pumpkins in the upper right-hand window, but they're not plugged in for some reason. Here's the candy set. And we know that we get several hundred trick-or-treaters here. So here's the candy setup for tonight. Look at this.
Good stuff, too. Wow, individually wrapped bags?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, with several full-size bars. Some of them get root beer, popcorn. It's quite a spread.
How long did you work on all of this spread?
I didn't work at all on it. I didn't put any effort at all into it. All right, welcome to the Jack Murphy Podcast. I'm Jack Murphy. John Garrett joining me today from down in Montgomery, Alabama. So, quick story, John. I teased this on my walk in the woods this morning. So, years ago, I used to work at this little radio station in Noonan, Georgia, WNEA, and little AM daytimer, right? And so, one of the things you had to do every day, we were an ABC News affiliate, we ran Paul Harvey every day. And I would DJ up until Paul Harvey came on. Then you just had to sit there. So I usually listened to him because I think he may have been one of the greatest storytellers to ever live. I mean,
what was the format of that station?
It was a little bit of everything. It was kind of variety. We played some top 40. They had some live. It was a mishmash. Whatever they could make a buck on, they did. But I don't know why, but yesterday I saw something about Paul Harvey, and I remember of all the stories I ever heard him tell, this was the most interesting story ever. It was about the second virgin birth. Have you ever heard this?
No, but she sounds hot.
Well, of course, the first virgin birth was Mary giving birth to Jesus, right? But this is a true story, and Paul Harvey, he's a real journalist. Like, he wouldn't put anything on the air unless he could verify it with 3 independent sources. So this is a story that came from...
Is this from the Bible, a second birth?
No. This happened during the Civil War. And the story came from a surgeon for the Confederate Army, Captain L.G. Capers, and it happened at a battle up in Virginia. So this surgeon is at the site of the battle, and the battle's raging, and he's waiting to do what he knows he has to do, which is probably amputate or patch up some wounded soldier.
Yeah, like at the beginning of Dances with Wolves.
Yeah, exactly. So a couple of 100 yards from the battlefield, there's a mansion, and there's a mom and a daughter on the front porch, and they're kind of out there waiting to see if, maybe there's a soldier they can help if somebody gets wounded or whatever. So anyway, in the heat of the battle, a little bit later, the surgeon's standing there, and he hears a high-pitched scream. And it's the mother, and he's never heard this during battle because there's no women there. And suddenly this mother comes running down into the battlefield to where this doctor is and says, "You got to come up to our house. My daughter's been shot." And he goes up there, and sure enough, her 17-year-old daughter laying on the porch, bleeding from her abdomen. So he patches the wound, gives her some pain medication. He returns to the battlefield, and
let me interrupt. What was pain medication back then? You had to
probably morphine.
Morphine was around back then?
Yeah, probably more. Yeah, they had little things of morphine. It may have been heroin, for all we know. Or
no kidding. I thought those were new drugs.
Could have been opium. But anyway, he gave her the story. He gave her pain medication. He returned to the battlefield because there had been a young man shot right in front of him just before he went up there, and he went back to check on him. And the young man was doing fine. And he had promised the mother of the daughter he'd return later to check on her. So the battle ended. I guess they got the best of the battle. And the next day, he goes back to check on this young lady, and she'd gotten peritonitis, whatever that is. It's some sort of an infection. So he treats that. The young lady recovers, and everything's fine. And the young man that got wounded, he's fine too. So a couple of months later, they're coming back through there. The doctor stops to visit to check on the girl and the mother, and the daughter is sick again, and he examines her, and he goes, I hate to tell you this, but you're pregnant. And the mother said, it's impossible. She's never been with the man. And the daughter said, it's impossible. I'm a virgin. And
they all say that.
Here's what had happened.
I didn't think you could get pregnant the way I was doing it.
What had happened was when the young soldier on the battlefield got shot, he got shot in the abdomen and went through his groin area, and it picked up sperm, went through him, hit the girl in the ovary, and impregnated her. All right? This isn't the end of the story. In the end of the story. Never happened before, probably never happen again. So anyway,
Wait. Let me just say this. How did she show signs of being pregnant by the next day?
I didn't say it was the next day. I said a couple of months later he comes back. So anyway, she completes the pregnancy, has the baby, and the young man, the doctor finds this young man, tells him the story. He goes to visit the young woman. They fall in love and get married. He marries this young woman that has his baby. They get married and have 2 more children. But later...
Did she have to get shot for the other 2 kids too? Or did they go the more traditional route?
It was normal. But a more convenient method, let me say that. But anyway, later, the baby started having some sort of a problem, got an infection, and they did a surgery on the baby. The bullet was in the baby.
No.
The bullet was in the baby. I'm telling you.
You mean
Paul,
the bullet got lodged in her, and then the baby embryo kind of picked it up?
Grew around it, exactly.
Like that tree, like picture we've all seen of the tree where the bicycle, it grew around.
Exactly. Same thing. Now, this is Paul Harvey told this story, and he said he had 3 verified. You can look it up.
3 verified.
Here, I've got it right here. The captain's
You know who verified
name,
it? His friend and his buddy and his cousin.
L.G. Capers. Captain L.G. Capers was the surgeon in the Army. That's a true story. The only verified other virgin birth other than Jesus.
One bullet.
You heard it here on the Jack Murphy podcast.
1 bullet, 2 bodies, 1 sperm.
Yep, you got it. Now, John, have you heard about all the monkey problems going on?
Yeah, we got outbreak monkeys down there in Mississippi.
Well, you know, we had them here in Charlotte a couple of months ago. I don't know if you were on the program, but we had the same thing. Some research monkeys got out. There weren't as many of them, and they captured them, but one of them got loose and it got hit by a car.
That's very suspicious that monkeys would go. You would think because I mean, my dogs have not gotten out of the fence in 3 years. Okay,
Yeah.
And that's just a stupid fence.
These monkeys were all in trucks. My question is this. They were transporting these monkeys from Tulane University in Louisiana, and the truck was going through Mississippi. I think it was going to the CDC. But all these monkeys in the truck were infected with all kinds of different strains of COVID, herpes, and hepatitis. Now, why are we
in Mississippi?
Why are we transporting monkeys with killer diseases, for them to get out? Anyway, the truck wrecks and all the monkeys get out. And in Jasper County, the sheriff shows up and he was instructed to shoot the monkeys. And so they start blasting the monkeys. I've got a video.
One of the monkeys got pregnant. What happened was he shot him.
No. Here, look, this one right here. And they were not friendly to humans. And I said, of course not. They've been caged up, given deadly diseases. They hate humans. They're rhesus monkeys.
The poor monkeys were on the truck, and one says, I got herpes, and the other one says, I got COVID. And they're like, there's no way this could get worse. Next thing you know, they're in Mississippi.
They're rhesus monkeys. That's what they make those candy bars out of.
Right.
Anyway, all the monkeys were assassinated by the sheriff, except for one that got away. They haven't caught it yet.
Is assassinated the word, or is that just used for, like, famous people?
Well, they were murdered. They were gunned down, however you want to say it.
They were unalived. Remember, we are on YouTube. Unalived.
The sheriff unalived all the monkeys, and it's terrible. Now, there's a news story today, and I wonder, how does this happen? A monkey got loose inside a Spirit Halloween store in Texas. Eventually, the monkey's owner was able to bribe it down with a cookie and regain control of it. The monkey was not hurt. This monkey did not have COVID or hepatitis or any of the other stuff. So,
did it have herpes?
I don't know about that. It didn't mention it. Just said that he didn't have any illnesses.
The hood's been good to me ever since I was a lowercase G. But now I'm the big G. The girls see I've got the money. $100 bills, y'all. If you were from where I'm from, then you would know that I gotta get mine in a big black truck. You can get yours in a 6-ball.
You don't mind if I smoke, do you? I figured there's not that many people watching. Nobody's going to get offended.
Yeah, there's only 257 subscribers, so nobody's going to get it.
Listen, I watch your podcast. You put a lot of time into it. How come we're not getting more views? I think I have a theory. You have it marked as adults only.
Well, let me tell you why you do that. Because if you don't, people can't make comments on it. I can try that. I'm willing to try that.
Because, I mean, like, you're good. This is a good show, and I don't know why it's not picking up steam.
I'm willing to try anything. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I've started posting those Walk in the Woods on the YouTube channel, and they routinely get 500 to 1,500 views. I don't know why the podcast doesn't.
And you've been doing it consistently for, 6 or 8 months.
Well, we're only a few shows away from our 100th episode.
That's depressing that only 40 people are watching it.
No, 250 are subscribed right now.
Yeah, but 40 people are watching it. And that's just like your cousin and me.
Yeah, you're right. But it's fun. I'm having a good time, so I don't care.
Well, we just need to get these numbers pumped up.
Yeah. So, stuff's really going to hit the fan Saturday, I guess. That's when the EBT gets cut off. I sent you that little blurb Mark Dice had posted. It's pretty funny.
I saw that yesterday. Did you have it ready to post now?
No, I couldn't get it to work. It wouldn't. Sometimes when I try to convert files, they won't work. But Mark Dice had posted this. You can go on to Google and you can check what are the trending searches. And yesterday, I'll read it to you. Here were the trending searches yesterday. Is they cutting? Is they cutting food stamps? Is they cutting off Section 8? Is they cutting off food stamps? Is they cutting off Social Security? Is they cutting off SSI? Is they cutting Medicare? Those were the top searches.
And at first it's like, that's funny. Then you realize this is an outrage. The fact that we have 42 million Americans, and then when you bring it up, like I brought it up on Facebook the other day, the fact that we have 42 million, there's always one or two people who want to come at you. Oh, you don't want to help. And
I agree.
I'm like, don't come at me. Don't come at me. Like I'm not I'm an uncaring person. Certainly, children got to eat. I understand that. But I don't feel like I should have to work. And I found online, I think I did AI search on Google. You spend the average 8-hour workday, you spend 7 minutes just to pay for SNAP. And then SNAP comes to 7 minutes of your day. So you got to work for 7 minutes. So people, and I'm not talking about people who really need it, obviously, But what I'm seeing is people who just eat Doritos all day and fruit roll-ups and pizza rolls, and they demand
another way I've heard that expressed is instead of 7 minutes a day, people will come on social media and they go, it only costs the average taxpayer $36 a year to feed the people that get SNAP. Now, the statistic that bugs me about SNAP is not only how did we get to 43 million people on SNAP, number one, but you go back and look, and about 40% of the people on SNAP today got on it during the Biden administration's term.
Not only that, what about all the illegals? A lot of that
That's
SNAP.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. All the illegals got on it, and a bunch of people got on it during COVID and never came off of it. And so we're at COVID levels, and we had 15 million illegal immigrants come in. They all got on it. That's why 43 million people are on it.
And the sense of entitlement. Not any. You don't see anybody. Now, we watch TV stories, news stories, and you'll see a family, and they're like, a couple of years ago, we had a nice house, and here we are, and I feel weird. I'm getting, at the food bank. And that's obviously can happen. But they make it out to be like everybody on SNAP is just hard working and trying to feed their children when we know good and well they're gaming the system and have been for generations. And now that when I go to Walmart, I got to watch my pennies. I'm on a budget. I don't get to buy fruit roll-ups and soda water.
I mean, there's a bunch, just like you said, they're bragging about it. I see them on social media, on the talk a lot. And it'll be a young Hispanic or a young black woman, and she'll go, this started with my great-grandmother.
Yeah.
She taught us how to get on all the programs. And so I tell my kids, you can't get a job. It'll mess up my Section 8 and my SNAP benefits and my welfare money. And it's sad, is what it is.
I'm just tired of not being able to say anything about it. I mean, you can't even express your opinion about it because you're labeled like you're mean, and how could you be that way? These poor children. Don't put that off on me. Yeah. Get out and do something. Look, the whole work 20 hours a week thing, I'm all for it, but that ain't ever going to happen.
Yeah, and the way that the story's being twisted right now by certain media, not all of it, but some of it, even CNN is telling the story fairly correctly in that they just haven't passed the continuing resolution. This is not a budget thing. It has nothing to do with the budget. The continuing resolution just keeps the government open while they negotiate the budget. What the Democratic leadership wanted to do was, before they passed the continuing resolution, they wanted them to go ahead and put extra funding in for stuff they want in the next budget. And they said, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to negotiate the budget like we always do. And they went, fine, shut down the government. Well, what's going to happen after Saturday? You're going to have 43 million people lose their benefits. And then we're getting really close to the FAA shutting down air travel because the air traffic controllers aren't getting paid. TSA's not getting paid. And, you're not going to get a volunteer every month to pay the military their salary, which we did this month. So it's going to be a mess in about a week.
Check this out. So I've been hearing about how cutting off EBT is going to really mess with Walmart. Like 15-20% of Walmart business is from EBT. Do you know what that means? That means Walmart is a publicly funded company.
Not only that, but I don't know how true this is, but I read that about 50% of Walmart's employees are on benefits as well because they don't pay them enough.
Yeah, we're supplementing, we're underwriting Walmart and paying 15% of their overhead, and we're getting nothing out of it because we give them tax breaks when they move into a new city.
And they put mom and pop stores out of business.
Out of business. Yeah, and it's great.
That's exactly the way it works.
So just think, 7 minutes. Now, you can be one of these people that says, I don't care about 7 minutes. I do. That's not counting in the 4 minutes for Ukraine, the 20 minutes for Social Security, whatever it works out to. You don't start getting paid till lunchtime on your job.
I love it when you young people get hip to what's happening. Now, look,
it's time people start speaking out about this. And this is the one thing that Trump, I think, his legacy can be cutting out some of this fat. And even though the EBT thing is only temporary, it's coming back. I wish we could do something about it long term.
Well, I think you know there will be some changes made in it. I mean, the 20-hour work rule is new, so you know if they'll enforce that, it will be a change. But a lot of this, again, is baked into the education system as well.
Yeah.
You know, you've got teachers right now, today, all over the country. Now, I don't know if they're reading from a script that the National Association of Teachers passed out or the union gave to them, or if this is just their liberal education coming out. But you have teachers all across America in junior highs and high schools telling their students stuff like this.
The truth is, this shutdown didn't have to happen. It is entirely because Republican leadership chose to hold the budget hostage. And the people who get hurt the most are the ones already at the margins. Black.
Yeah. I mean, they're doing it all over America. There's a bunch of examples of it.
This shutdown is not neutral. It is a choice, and it's a choice being made by Republicans in Congress. They are holding the government hostage, and the people who suffer first are Black and brown communities, queer folks.
So it's almost like they have a script, didn't it?
Most teachers lean left and always have, up until my entire
left. They dive left into the left lane in the fast lane.
Yeah, I recall my art teacher, Mrs. Dollar, was a very
oh yeah, and it used to be when we were younger. Like it probably was. There were a lot more when you were coming along, but when I was, back when I was going to high school in the 70s, the art teacher was the most liberal person out there,
yeah.
And maybe the English lit teacher was probably a little woke as well.
That's right.
And maybe there was a gay science teacher that was kind of woke, but the rest of them were
Mr.
all...
Freeman, you must have been to went to my school. You
the
just
rest
named
of them were
off.
pretty conservative, or they were football coaches that had to teach a couple of classes or whatever.
Yeah, football coach was conservative. Shop teacher was conservative.
Yeah, and they weren't unionized. Now they're all unionized pretty much, and so they're all on the left-wing liberal bandwagon.
And, of course, you can't say anything about a teacher because there are heroes. But really, I got a thing or two. Well, one day we'll do a podcast. I'll tell you my thoughts on teachers.
All right. This one teacher, that last one I played, she got suspended because it was like an algebra class or something. Where
yes.
She was
I thought it was a social studies class.
One of them was. The other was like an algebra class where she was spewing all this stuff.
Let's talk about the fact that President Trump incited an election.
His various cases of, he's got charges of inciting an erection.
Donald John Trump incited the erection.
Well, are you, now do you have Halloween in the hood over at your house there?
I'm probably going to give Quandra and the next door neighbors, I got some cookies.
Do you have a pumpkin?
Oh, no, I don't do all that stuff. I'm a single guy.
Yeah. Well,
I'll
they sell
turn out
pumpkins to single guys.
No, I'm just saying I don't get into the holiday spirit like you.
You're allowed to have a pumpkin. Check out this pumpkin right here. That pumpkin weighed 2,800 pounds, John.
I've been thinking a lot about Halloween. I've noticed over the last couple of decades, it's one more thing that the adults have hijacked away from kids. First thing that the adults did was they hijacked Disney from the kids. It used to be a thing for kids. Now, then the next thing the adults did was they hijacked Halloween, and they turned it into them. It's all about adult parties.
Christmas,
and of course,
Christmas too, to some degree, yeah.
And adults, another thing they've hijacked is a kid can't go out and mow lawns in his neighborhood for $20 or $30 because there's a guy out there and he's got 7 weed whackers and 3 zero turns carrying a trailer around.
And he's an immigrant. He's an immigrant trying to make a living.
So it's another thing adults have hijacked from the kids. It's Halloween.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you. So we made it through yesterday safely. Yesterday was the day that 3 Atlas was coming close. It came out from behind the sun, zipped by Mars, and yesterday was the day that a lot of people thought we might have our first alien contact. Now, it was cloudy here all day yesterday and last night and again today, so I haven't been able to see the sky. And because NASA shut down, the only time we learn anything is when Avi Loeb does an interview with Joe Rogan or somebody, which he did a couple of days ago. He really took a shot at your personal physicist. What's his name?
Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Yes, he really took a shot at him. And he said, he's got a really heavy Israeli accent. He goes, these scientists should stay in their lanes. He is a astrophysicist. I am an astronomer. He should stay in his lane. And he's talking about how there's a lot of knowledge in the sciences, but not a lot of common sense. And a lot of people have been making fun of him, but he pointed out why he had his theories, and, it made a lot of sense. But anyway, it got to what they call perihelion yesterday, John. It's a big word, and nothing happened. So hopefully nothing will happen. Just a
They
big
say
rock.
that, and I believe there's something, you've seen the video of the Tic Tac that they're chasing around.
Right.
So it used to be just occasionally a whack job would say UFO, but now you got Navy pilots, you got airline pilots. All airline pilots got a story about something they saw over the Pacific Ocean one night.
Have you seen the congressman from Tennessee? He's pretty famous. I know you've seen this video. It's like where he's walking down the sidewalk in D.C. and some nerd with his phone up to him goes, Congressman, do you trust President Trump to keep our war plans secret? And he goes, do you trust your mom to heat up your Hot Pocket at night?
Yeah, I saw that.
You know the guy I'm talking about?
Is that
well, he
Tim
was
Burchett?
he was on like a Fox show the other day, and he was talking about these hearings they've been having about UFOs and stuff, and he goes, well, I'll tell you, there's a lot of stuff that's going to come out that these generals and others have told me from the military, and it's pretty scary stuff. He said, I really have no doubt that there's UFOs and stuff. Now, he said, they've told me there's stuff under the water in the ocean going hundreds of miles an hour that we can't duplicate. We can't possibly, massive objects going hundreds of miles an hour, and we don't know what's going on down in the deep part of the ocean.
Right.
And look at this. Here's a video I found a couple of days ago of an object in the ocean. No one can tell anybody what it is. Look at this. What's that?
Some kind of orb?
Who knows? But it's certainly not natural,
Is that
whatever it is.
Is that a school of like fluorescent jellyfish?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Who knows what it is?
Yeah,
But
the Tic Tac video. They claim that it was hovering at 500 miles an hour or whatever. You've seen the video, and then it just went straight in the water. Boom.
Yeah,
no splash or anything.
It changes direction like instantly. And it would, if a human being did that, it would kill them.
Yeah.
Because your brain would slam against your skull if you change directions that fast at that speed. The thing that bugs me the most about like the Tic Tac videos and all these UFO videos from the military is we pay, $500 million for one of these fighter planes.
Sure.
For each copy. They have the crappiest cameras. It's always black and white, horribly grainy, no detail. Why can't they get a decent camera?
That's a good point. Just stick an iPhone, duct tape it to the front of the F-15.
That's what I'm saying. Just put an iPhone up there because the cameras suck. I don't know who makes them, but we got a bad deal on that.
Navy camera maker.
Yeah, Trump's going to get to the bottom of that. He's going to get better cameras, the best cameras in the world.
I can't wait to see things develop.
Oh, here's another crazy thing, John. You know where Chernobyl is. They had a full-blown nuclear meltdown, graphite caught on fire. It was terrible. I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a great series about it on Netflix that came out about a year ago. I watched it, really well done. But anyway, the only thing they could do, basically, it was so bad, was they would fly over with helicopters carrying big loads of concrete and drop it on the exposed reactor. And they just kept doing that and kept doing it and kept doing it until they built this big dome. But the whole place has been deemed uninhabitable. and nobody can live there because of the high radiation. Well, meanwhile, nature has continued right on along.
I know.
Wildlife has flourished around the reactor, and there were a lot of people left. This is sad. A lot of people left their pets behind when they had to leave, and there are all these feral dogs and cats there. And so there are
nuclear dogs.
Well, people go in wearing protection, and they leave food for these dogs and cats and stuff. And I guess scientists go in there to check the radiation levels or whatever. But yeah, the dogs have all turned blue.
But they seem to be living a long life? Do we know that?
They look perfectly healthy to me, but look at this. See this blue? There are a bunch of pictures like this where this is normally white, and it's all turned blue.
Do you know, if that was my dog, take a guess at what I would name him?
Blue?
Old Blue.
Old Blue.
Circle gets a square, point goes to Murphy.
There's Old Blue coming in there. But
let me ask you a question then. Let me ask you this, because I've thought about this. All right, so Chernobyl is radioactive, right? It's not safe to live there.
Right.
Didn't we drop a nuclear bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1941?
Yeah, but there's a big difference. The nuclear bombs that we dropped were relatively small, even though they caused massive death and destruction. But this was a nuclear reactor melting down.
What's the difference?
It was just much bigger exposure and much more direct exposure. It wasn't an explosion. It was a meltdown where the nuclear fuel melted down and exposed all the air and everything. In a blast, I think a lot of it's airborne and disperses. And now the bombs that they have. It's funny. I saw Neil deGrasse Tyson talking about this, and he goes, the bombs that we have today, the hydrogen bombs, much more powerful than the bombs we had during World War II, but they don't leave behind as much radiation.
So how come if the globe is spinning, we don't eventually go into that Chernobyl air?
Well, that's a good question. You'd have to get somebody smarter than me to explain that. I'm sure that there was a lot of radioactivity. I don't know anybody
smarter than you.
I'm sure there was a lot of radioactivity that went into the atmosphere that we all breathe. But
it's sort of like when I see stories about, like, in India where they got that landfill that can, it's spewing for 50 years. It's nothing but smoke, and the whole city's full of smoke. How come when the Earth turns, we don't get some of that residual smoke?
I guess things like the jet stream and other stuff keep stuff moving. It's like up in Pennsylvania, they've had that underground fire and the cold things burning forever.
What's that called? Yeah, I know that it's underground. I can't think of the name of it.
Yeah, it's a coal seam that caught on fire, and they've never been able to put it out.
Hey, Siri, what's the name of that Pennsylvania neighborhood that's on fire?
Okay, I found this.
Centralia.
Yeah, that's it.
Centralia,
Pennsylvania. It's a bad deal. You wouldn't want to live there.
No.
Why doesn't The View have any trans women on it?
Great point. It has a lot of women that look trans, but none of them. It has a lot of second and third takes. After a drink, you'd go, huh? But it doesn't have.
I don't know if you felt this or not, but I feel like things are moving too fast. Do you feel that way?
I know that ever since COVID, I've seen a lot of videos about how people are thinking and feeling like time is moving too fast.
Yeah, well, there's a thing called, there's a thing called the quickening, which supposedly will happen in the end times, and it signals that we're getting near the end of time. But it just seems to me that things are moving too fast, and I'm talking about in technology.
Like you're not talking about your perception of time. I can't believe it's been 5 years since this happened. You're talking about, you think
both. I mean, as you get older, time goes by much faster.
Yes,
I mean, it just does. I notice it all the time, how quickly time goes by. But there's some other prophecy about the end of time, that there will be this explosion of knowledge. people will be traveling to and fro, and certainly we're doing that with the airlines. We've been doing it forever. But this sudden explosion of AI, suddenly an unbelievable wealth of knowledge is available to anybody on their phone with AI, with Grok or Chat GPT or Perplexity or any one of the AI models that are out there. Suddenly, you have all the information, and Siri's the dumbest one of all. But
it's free. Don't you have to pay? Like eventually, they're going to be putting.
There's Grok 4. You have to pay for that, but I don't pay for regular Grok, and I don't pay for my Chat GPT account. And it'll do video. I just watched this thing. There's a cool guy on TikTok, and I can't think of his name, but he's a musician. And he's got this studio, and it's lined with all these antique guitars and everything. And he interviews artists all the time. And he's talking about how music died about 10 years ago. Mainstream rock and top 40 died. Country's the only format that's sort of still real anymore. And he said, let me demonstrate. He had this AI program, and he gave it voice instructions. He said, create an indie female AAA artist, and all of a sudden this image appeared of this woman that would look just like what you think. He goes, now write lyrics for her, a song about a guy who never appreciated her for who she was. And in about 20 seconds, the lyrics were all done, and then it said, now write the music to go with. And they played the song, and it was great.
Yeah. And I did that. I sent you an example of mine. Remember that?
I mean, it was just tremendous. But so all this tech is just converging all at once, and we have gigantic energy problems. I keep seeing all these interviews with these AI people who say, hey, the biggest problem we have in this country is energy. We've got to start building. And now you've got private companies buying nuclear projects that they gave up on, and they're going to finish them. And
they're bringing back 3 Mile Island just for a data center.
And now they're doing these mini reactors to run these data centers. And so all of our power bills are going up, like it or not, because of these data centers and AI. And they're going to be putting millions of people out of work. Amazon just laid off 30,000 people. But listen to this. Apple, day before yesterday, just became, now I don't know if you remember this, but how long was it? 5 years ago when Apple became the first $1 trillion company?
Yeah.
It was about 5 years ago?
Yeah, they're the only one, aren't they?
Day before yesterday, Apple's valuation reached $4 trillion. So it's quadrupled in like 5 years. Now, have they come out with some new great product that I'm unaware of?
Every time they put out a new iPhone, it's just like a new camera. And I'm like, God, for what?
Yeah. And all right. And so now I just got this information yesterday. Apple joined tech giants NVIDIA and Microsoft as the third company ever to reach $4 trillion. They've all just exploded, and it's all because of AI. There's a big AI bubble.
I love it because I got in on a lot of that early in my portfolio, and I'm loving it. Look, I'm just trying to make it another 10 years. I know exactly what you're talking.
My thing is you might want to think about getting out of some of it because I think there's a big AI bubble. But anyway, I just got this information day before yesterday that Apple made it to $4 trillion and NVIDIA was there. Today, NVIDIA stock apparently went up the last couple of days. It's now a $5 trillion company.
Good.
And 5 years ago, you probably hadn't even heard of NVIDIA.
My financial planner had, though.
Oh, yeah, it was a gaming chip company. And it went from that to still doing all the gaming chips, but it went from that to AI, and they're just printing money, apparently.
You know, I do agree. I think you can reach critical mass, and you can go too fast on the roller coaster, and eventually it no longer becomes progress. It becomes counterproductive. And I do think we are nearing the end of times. And I have noticed over the last about 10 years, the world's really changed. And a lot of people will put that more in the COVID era, but I think about 2015 with the advent of these high super speed computers and social media and all that, I do think the world is changing quickly, and
Yeah.
it's exponential.
Have you seen the lawsuit that's going on right now about ChatGPT that coached a teenager to commit suicide?
No.
Very frightening.
I'm very trepidatious about what I type into my computer. If you were to go online, you would see just, nothing that I don't want anyone else to see. Sometimes I'll maybe even want to Google a symptom, especially a mental symptom. I never do that.
Well, this kid, apparently, normally happy kid, his parents thought, but he'd been talking to ChatGPT about being depressed, and ChatGPT, and then he started talking to it about he'd had suicidal thoughts, and ChatGPT basically said, well, I can help you with that. Offered to write the suicide note, advised him on how to, and he committed suicide. And the parents have gotten copies of all that, and they're suing ChatGPT because of it.
See, I'm at that point now. I think I'm becoming, in the last throes of life where I'm just like, good Lord, I'm glad I'm not going to be around to see what's going to happen. I've had my time. I don't want to be here in 40 years. Do you?
No. But I tell you what, this is happening so fast that I think you're going to see a lot more of it than you want to.
Yeah, I think so too. I think you're going to be all right. And I don't mean that to be smart alecky. But
I know what you mean.
I'm thinking about 20 or 30 years, it's going to be a bad situation.
I don't know if it's going to be that long. It's moving so fast that I think in 5 or 10 years, it may get really bad.
I'll give you an example. 2 years ago, I asked an industry friend of mine, I said, how long do you think radio has left? Do you think radio will be around in 15 years? And he said, no. And I said, do you think radio will be around in 10 years? He said, I don't know. I said, what about 5 years? He said, probably. But now it's almost gone.
Yeah,
and I don't think we have 10 years.
Yeah, it's dying. There's no doubt about that.
So that was 2 years ago, and things really started going fast in the last year. And just if you look at media, everything exploding online, where does it all stop?
Well, the problem for me with AI is that it's the Wild West, number one. And Congress, look at what's going on right now. We can't even get a continuing resolution passed, much less get common sense AI rules passed. And they've presented it as we're in a AI world war. We got to get it before China gets it. We got to get it before. Well, they're going to have it too. They already have it. But we got to beat them at it. We got to get better. So everybody's just going into this thing blindly, getting it more powerful, more, smarter, faster, over and over and over. And there's no control on it. And I don't know if they saw Terminator, but I did. Yeah. And it was not a good thing.
Are we fooling ourselves into thinking it's just going to take over the world and we're just being extra cautious? Or, are we going to enter that world we see in the old sci-fi movies?
Well, a lot of those old sci-fi movies are stuff that Gene Roddenberry thought up actually have happened.
True.
A lot of stuff that The Simpsons had on actually happened.
That's right.
A lot of stuff that The Family Guy had on has actually happened. So are we fooling ourselves or...
I picture a dystopian future where I'm just an old man, poor, looking back on my life going, what the hell? Mm-hmm. And I don't like that thought.
Yeah, and you won't be able to get cigarettes. I'll tell you that right now. AI will not let you have cigarettes.
You're right about that. And when I'm in my house, I'm uncomfortable sometimes if I'm talking to a buddy or a friend. Because I know it's listening. Mm-hmm. And I don't like that. I don't have Alexa.
Oh, I do. And that drives me crazy because I'll be if you're on the phone or the TV's on, all of a sudden Alexa will just start talking.
Yeah.
She'll go, I can find that information. And I'll go, I'm not talking to you. Shut up.
Right. And I can, from across the house, I'll just talk in a normal voice, say something to my dogs, and Siri be like, I didn't quite get that. And I'm like, I wasn't talking to you.
Now, when I open Grok is very intrusive. Once you get the Grok going, it's very difficult to get it to shut up. Like, let me ask it right now. Hey, Grok, do you think that AI will take over the world and control our military weapons at some point?
hijack all our weapons. We're building systems with safeguards, ethics baked in, and humans still call the shots, literally. The real worry is more about misuse.
So he says no. But anyway,
and
once
we
I
can
asked,
trust Grok. Grok cares.
Here's the thing about Grok. Once I asked, if I don't close the program now, swipe up and close it, it'll just randomly start answering things I'm talking about when I'm not even dealing with it anymore. It's still listening.
And that means there's somebody somewhere who has access to everything you say around your house.
Did you just hear that? He just said, got it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's going to a data center somewhere that's eating up power run by a nuclear power station that ought to be providing power to our house.
That you didn't ask for.
Exactly.
And it's because of Jackson Browne and all these friggin' no nukes concerts, so we don't have any nuclear power plants, which could really alleviate a lot of these problems that we're going to be faced with financially with higher power bills.
Exactly.
And strain on the power grid. We could have had these, the Fukushima, that's a General Electric nuclear power plant.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody in America got paid for that. We just put it over in China. We don't have any in America.
Put it in Japan, and they put it in a bad spot where earthquake and tidal wave hit it.
Well, that aside, I'm saying GE still got paid. We're just not allowed to have any nuclear power plants in America.
Right. But same thing, like in Germany, they have gigantic energy problems because they were dependent upon Russian natural gas. They shut down all their nuclear power plants. And now they have a big power shortage in Germany.
And nuclear could solve a lot of these problems. It does present its own set of problems.
Yeah, but it's much better and much safer than it used to be. And there's even some new technology. I saw. I watched there's a company that's taking spent nuclear fuel and putting it in these mini reactors and reusing it over and over and over. And it provides tons of power.
You know what worries me? What if I, buy a house one day and move away and get out in the country, and the next thing you know, they're building a friggin' data center?
Just happened here. Dale Earnhardt's widow, his widow, that hates Dale Jr. and the daughter. Dale owned all this land up near Mooresville, like hundreds of, maybe thousands of acres, and Teresa Earnhardt was going to let them build this giant data center on it up there, and all the residents came out and started raising hell about it, and they won't let them do it now.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of stories about these people who they move out to the country, they got a couple of chickens, and they just next thing you know, and then there's this low hum of this data center. They lose their view, and there's trucks constantly going in and out.
And that thing's emitting all kind of rays and
their water. They dig so much that their water becomes contaminated. It's just terrible.
Plus there's all sorts of heavy metals in that equipment and all. It's a nightmare. All right. Well, I hope you're in a better, happier mood after listening to the Jack Murphy podcast.
We always end up talking about doom and gloom when I'm a guest. I'm sorry.
We kind of went dark today, but that's okay because Halloween is tomorrow. Oh, and tomorrow, special guest on the program. Old friend and coworker of mine is coming on the program. The most listened to female radio news person in history, possibly.
Give me a hint. Do I know this person?
Maybe Claire Stevens.
I know Claire Stevens.
She was the morning news person on Z100 for many, many years, and it was the most listened to station in America. So I think it's a good possibility she's the most listened to female news person ever.
You ever going to get Scott Shannon on, or does he do podcasts?
I don't know. I'll invite him. I'll see. We're out of time. John, thanks for joining me today. If you haven't, subscribe to the channel. Get that done, like the video, and we'll see you tomorrow for a spooky Jack Murphy podcast.
Thanks for watching the Jack Murphy podcast. Remember to like, subscribe, and ring that bell. Go ahead, ring it. Get alerts when a new episode drops, and tell your friends about the Jack Murphy podcast. But only the cool friends, please. Tune in next time for another episode of the Jack Murphy podcast.